It is finally here, the Titan solar generator. There has not been another solar generator that has been able to do what the Titan can do. Now this is hands down the strongest and most powerful portable solar generator on the market. I'm going to show you just how awesome it is. Full size chop saw. Got a ton of wood here that I need to break down for cooking outside in the fire pit. Started at 100%, now we're at 95%. Started at 28.5 volts, now we're at 28.3 volts. Pretty awesome. Now I need to clean up. Let's just run the shop back. Okay, so running that super heavy duty equipment, we went down to a total of 28.1 volts, and I ran it like a breeze. That is not a problem at all. I have tried multiple different solar generators. The Titan is the only one that's been able to run this heavy duty equipment. Now you may be thinking there's no need to run heavy duty equipment, and oftentimes there isn't, but sometimes there is. And having the option to be able to run that equipment is what I like the most. Now you just saw me chopping up a bunch of wood and using my shop vac. No other solar generator that I have tested has ever been able to do that. Now there are some really large solar generators, and then there are portable solar generators. This is still a portable solar generator while being extremely powerful. So I've got all my notes right here. I'm going to go through them really quick, and then hopefully I don't forget anything, and we're going to show you why this is the absolute best solar generator on the market today. Now first of all, what you see here is the second generation, the second prototype. The first prototype, I only did a soft release to a select few people that were able to see it and know what it could do. This is the upgraded version, and the final production model will actually be a little different as well, and I'm going to talk about what all those differences are. The battery on this is actually a 2,000 watt-hour capacity. Now, it's actually more, but we're rating it at 2,000 for easy math. The differences that will be on the production model will be there won't be a hard handle right on top. This was just a handle they threw on there for easy moving. It'll probably be more either like one of these nylon rubber grips or a recessed handle. The top will also not be gray, it will be green. Another thing that will be different, and I'll show you the battery here disconnected from this in a second, is these foot pads. You will need a space on top of the battery here because this battery is stackable. And that's how you expand it, is actually vertically rather than horizontally. That gives it a really small footprint and makes it really, really easy to expand. So there's going to be some dies that are made and some holes in the top of this battery so those feet fit right in there and the batteries fit nice and flush on there, keeping it as small as possible. Now the inverter on this, one of the reasons why this is so big is it's a 2,500 watt inverter with a 6,000 watt peak. Now this measures about 12 inches high, 12 inches deep, and 18 inches wide. The battery has a 2,000 lifetime cycle, which means that you could use it for 5.5 years where you drain it every single day and recharge it every single day. That's one cycle. And after 5.5 years, the battery is going to be about an 80% efficiency. So rather than being 2,000 watt hours, it would be about 1,600 watt hours. Still a very, very good battery. I want to show you the output side. Now this is actually split into 1 and 2 parts. And basically, the biggest thing that I like that they've done at the front here is these plugs are evenly spaced across the whole thing rather than being all stuck in one spot. The reason I like that is because in other units that I've tested, I find that, especially with like my ham radio plugs, they're big box plugs, and so it would end up covering a lot of the other ports and makes it harder to run more things. because this is so evenly spaced, there's plenty of room here. I've attached multiple large box plugs to this without any issue. The other thing that's really cool is all of these cigarette lighter ports, or these DC plugs, are actually all available to use. All of these USB plugs are removable, which means you can pick and choose which ones you want to run. Maybe you have an excess of DC items that need to be run. I personally don't have that many, but I know that many people who use ham radios or RVs or vans or whatever have a lot of DC equipment, and this gives them more options to plug more stuff in. It also comes not just with USB plugs, but USB-C, and these all come standard on the Titan. The other really unique feature that this has is because this is actually a 24 volt system, not a 12 volt, it's more efficient, more powerful. It uses these 24 volt DC output plugs. Now, one of the reasons these are here is the Titan comes with a reset cable. And basically all that means is, let's say you use the battery too much and it goes all the way down to 3%. 3% is the safety shutoff. Other units, it's an average of 10%. So this, you can use 97% of the actual battery, which again, no other system has been able to do. Let's say you do happen to drain it too low. Well, you plug this into your panels and you plug this right into there and you give it a few seconds, and this gives you an off-grid option of resetting your battery so that way you can get back up and running. The other systems out there don't have a panel reset capability. You have to reset it with the wall charger. Well, if the power's out and you happen to run it too far, you're out of luck. With the Titan, not a problem. You got your reset cable. On top of that, one of the things that'll be coming out to be used with the Titan is chainable lights. Now, what I love about that is because it's 24 volts, you could run these a few hundred feet and still have light. That's how much power it's holding. Now, the lights are going to be kind of an expanding lantern, and that'll make it really nice and compact for travel. And they'll have probably a 6-foot or a 10-foot lead on them, and then extension cables that can go in between them. One of the big differences that will be in the production model is rather than having a screen on top and then a small screen on the front, these screens will actually be combined and be filling up this space right here. And they'll have 3 presets. It'll show how much you're inputting, how much you're outputting, and 3, what your battery charge is at, just like in percentage and in voltage. So that's going to make it really easy just to be able to scroll through and see all the different things. Now, moving on to the right side of the Titan, these vents actually will not be big lines like this. They'll actually be small perforated holes. That way nothing falls inside, you have to worry about opening it up. But this is where all your input stuff is, okay? This is your AC plug. Now, one of the things that I love is that this comes with a really simple AC charging cable. I've had a really hard time where companies like Goal Zero and other solar generator companies on the market end up making everything proprietary. And that makes it really hard for people who already have equipment and or want to make their equipment different. So because this uses a standard plug like this, you can get these up to 15, 20 feet if you really wanted to. Not that that's a big necessity, I just like the fact that they're trying to keep it really simple for the vast majority of users. This will charge at 750 watts per hour. And that means with a 2,000 watt battery, you're charging in about 3 hours. That makes it really easy. Now, what the other thing that is really cool is that when I add another battery to this, I can actually up the charge speed to 1,500 watts per hour. So I'd be at 4,000 watt hour capacity, charging at 1,500 watts per hour. That means I'm still charging it in 2.5 to 3 hours. Makes it really easy to keep it charged quickly. So that's one thing I love about the Titan and the AC charger. You actually have 2 solar panel input ports here. Now these are Anderson power poles. Again, very common. There's adapters everywhere for them. Any type of solar panels you have to plug in, there's most likely an adapter for it. It'll come with an MC4 to Anderson power pole adapter, since most solar panels are MC4. Each one of these can handle 140 volts and 30 amps. So I'll show you a diagram here, but you can actually use a series parallel combination of connecting the panels, and that'll actually get you up to over 2,000 watts per plug, which means you could actually get a total of 4,000 watts just in through this port, which is crazy amount of power. That's what a lot of off-grid houses use for solar panel arrays. That's how much power we're talking. Now, that being said, the Titan with one single battery can only input a max of 1,000 watts per hour. Now the reason that is because it's a 2,000 watt hour battery, and if you charge a lithium ion battery faster than 2 hours from 0 to full, then it can end up damaging it. So the charge rate has actually been put in place to keep its life cycles higher and prolong how long it'll work. As soon as you add a second battery into this and you stack it on, it's really easy to get into the program and tell it that you've added another battery, and then it'll allow you to put on up to 2,000 watts of panels. Now that being said, one of the additional safety features that has been put into the Titan is that, let's say I have 2,000 watts in panels and it's a really cloudy day. Well, I can connect all 2,000 watts in hopes that it'll actually make 1,000 watts because I've only got one battery, so that way I'm still charging really fast. But then let's say the storm blows away and it's really bright and sunny, and now I've got 2,000 watts in panels connected and only one battery. Well, that would end up damaging the battery. But because of how the programming is set up, it will only accept the 1,000 watts, which means I could have 5,000 watts of panels connected if I really wanted to, but it's only going to accept 1,000 watts. And that is one of the best features put into this to keep it from having any issues down the road. Right here, these breaker switches are actually to control the two different sides of the front of the solar generator. So let's say somehow you use too much power on one side and it flips the switch. Well, you can simply push the button there, it resets the breaker. There's no need to have to send this back, open it up, do anything like that like most units out there require. It also comes with fuses. These fuses are connected to those 24 volt DC fuses. So if somehow you accidentally attach too much power to reset this, well, you don't have to worry because it's going to hurt the fuse and not the inverter. These fuses are really cheap and are easy to replace. This just unscrews, fuse pops out, put a new one in, and you're back rolling again. Next, we've got the car charger. This will actually charge the entire generator from 0 to full in 10 hours, which is on par with other fast charging solar generators on the market. It's 18 amps into here, which is basically the fastest you can get, and so it takes 10 hours. This Anderson plug right here is for expansion batteries. So what that means is if you already have, say, some lead acid or deep cycle marine batteries, or even lithium ion batteries, you can attach them to here. It just needs to be set up in a 24 volt system. And that'll plug right in, and then you can actually tell the inverter what type of battery is connected externally. So say they're deep cycle marine batteries and you don't want to drain them below 50%, well, you tell the inverter that's what's connected, and then it will not drain the entire system below 50%. That makes sure that you don't hurt the system. No other unit out there can do that. It's amazing. So basically with the solar input, you have the ability to add up to 2,000 watts in solar panels. It can actually be more, but it's only going to input 2,000 watts if you have 2 or more batteries. If you have 1 or more batteries, it's going to be 1,000 watts that this is rated for. 140 volts, 30 amps is how much these ports can handle. So basically that means you can handle up to 10,000 watt hours of battery per day. The other really cool thing about this is you can connect one Titan to another Titan. And what that does is it doubles everything across the board. So that's how you're able to go from 2,000 up to 4,000 watts in solar panel. That also means that the inverter is a 5,000 watt continuous inverter, and rather than just being 110, 120 volts, it becomes 220 or 240 volt, which means that this will actually have the ability to connect together with another Titan and use a 50 amp plug to connect into your house power panel or electrical panel and power your entire house. This means you can run your well pumps, your dryer, anything else that's running 220, you're going to be able to do it. There's no other system that can do that. The expandability options of this are incredible. Having 10,000 watt hours of battery on each Titan, if you had 2, would mean you have 20,000 watt hours of battery, which is absolutely insane amount of power for a portable system. You can quite literally make this an off-grid system. I know for my house, on average we use 18 kilowatt hours per day. So that means if I have 4,000 watts in panels and I've got 20 kilowatts in batteries, that means I can for sure run all of my equipment business as usual without changing anything in my life, and this would run my whole house because on average I'm using 18 kilowatt hours a day. I'm not necessarily saying that's the best route to go, but it has that capability. It's an absolute amazing system that will expand up to huge proportions. One of the other really cool features that'll be included in the production model is that this will be Bluetooth capable, meaning it'll actually have a free app. It'll connect to your phone and you'll be able to see from your phone how much power is coming in, how much you're using, and so on, so you can actively monitor the power usage and input that you're getting on your Titan. This does have an MPPT charge controller in it. And that's one of the ways it's able to charge so well and have a large amount of solar panels attached to it. That means even on cloudy days, it's going to be a lot easier to make a lot of power. It is also pure sine wave, so any type of equipment that you want to connect to it is going to be really easy to do that. Now the top inverter section weighs about 30 pounds, and the bottom battery weighs about 35 pounds. So you're looking around 65 pounds or so, which is definitely on the heavier side. I definitely don't want to be carrying that around, which is the biggest drawback of the Titan, is it's quite heavy. But one of the ways that they fix that issue is having the battery disconnect from the inverter. So if I want to take this off, transport it somewhere else, really easy to do, just lift it off, and I can carry these each in one hand, or I can carry one at a time. Makes it really easy to move around. Now on the battery here, I mentioned that there would actually be holes right here for the feet to fit in, so when you stack another battery on top, it'll be really easy to do that. These Anderson plugs are actually fit in to be universal. So that means when you get another battery, you don't have to orient the battery in a specific way. The handle can be on the front, it can be on the back, it doesn't matter. There's also going to be a recessed handle right here on the top, and a flat or recessed handle on the front or back, whatever you want to call it. There's also these little pocket handles right on the side, so it makes it easy to pick it up and maneuver it. Now on the bottom here, you see that there's these little covers. These little covers are the receiving end of these Anderson plugs. So all that means is when you get another battery and you want to stack it on there, all you have to do is remove those two plates, stack it right on, put the inverter back on, and you're rocking and rolling with your expansion of batteries. We'll go ahead and put this right back on. Clip it right into place. And turn it on. Just like that. So after about 10-12 seconds, you hear this tiny little click, and that's when you know your inverter is turned on. Just like that. One of the coolest things that I love about this Titan generator is this power switch. So not only is it the power switch, but it's actually a breaker switch. And what happens is when that switch is turned off, it actually completely disconnects the inverter from the battery. Now what that means is that there is no little charge going on slowly draining the battery. So all the other solar generators out there say they need to be on a trickle charge, they need to be charged once a month, or at most every 3 months. With the Titan, because of how it's set up, this battery will not draw power from the inverter for 5 years when this is turned off. Yes, that is correct. 5 years. Now, after about 5 years, the battery capacity is said to be 75% or higher on average. So it's not going to be stuck at 100% the entire time. But the point is, we don't need the solar generators every single day. For most people that are using them for emergencies, it's for emergencies or when we're camping. If you're in an RV or in a van, then yes, you're going to be using it every day. And so the 5-year storage capacity isn't a big deal. Unless you're only RVing part of the year and you want to leave your generator in your RV or your van, well, then you turn it off, and then you know when you jump back in the van or in the RV, you turn it on and you're still pretty much at 100% power or wherever you left it at. That's one of the coolest features about this thing, is how long it'll store power. Now, some of you I know are going to be concerned the fact that when this is turned off, there's not going to be power to these DC plugs. Luckily for you, we've kept that in mind. You remove this plate right here, which is really easy to do. You flip a switch, and that will allow you to still use your DC plugs even when the inverter is turned off. So it has both options of long-term storage or to still run your DC plugs when it's turned off. Now, even with the DC plugs running and the power turned off, it's going to store that battery for a long, long time without draining much power at all. Another cool thing that no other manufacturer has done is they provide a 2-year warranty. Everyone else provides a 1-year warranty. They'll either ship you the part, like a whole replacement piece, or they'll pay for the shipping back in, replace it, send it back out to you, and you're rocking and rolling again. The things that really makes this have an X factor is, one, it's stackable lithium-ion batteries. It's able to expand with the second Titan and actually make 5,000 watt continuous power from the inverter, or have 220 volt / 240 volt power. It's able to connect to your house, and it's Bluetooth adaptable. There isn't anything this thing can't do pretty much. We've been running welders, chop saws, super heavy duty equipment, and this thing has run it flawlessly. We've had a heck of a time trying to flip the switches in this to make it need to be reset. We basically haven't been able to do it. So if you're looking for something that has a lot of capacity and a lot of power, there's nowhere else to go but the Titan. It's absolutely amazing. So some of the other things that the company is working on is actually having this be able to attach to a 12-volt fuse box. I know for a lot of people using RVs and vans and so on, they want to be able to take a solar generator and connect it straight to their fuse box because their RV or van is already wired up using that fuse box. Another thing is that even though this has a powder-coated finish, which makes it very durable and strong, they're working on actually having a vinyl skin cover. Not only so that it looks cool, but in addition, it'll actually have some extra protection on it. So as it sits right now, this is the final prototype. The next unit that will be made will actually be the production version, which will have all of the things that I've just talked about. And we're actually planning on going to China to have that made, just like all the other solar generators out there. Just because it's made in China doesn't mean it's low quality. Make sure to go to the website, poweredportablesolar.com. Shoot me an email, ask me whatever questions. I'm happy to help. I'm always available, and I'm always willing to do what I can to help you. One of the cool things that I like about the Titan is you can use basically any solar panel with it. Most solar panels come with an MC4 connection, and so this will come with an MC4 adapter. Now that being said, the units that I use have the B&D Flex panels. And if you haven't seen my video on why I use the B&D Flex panels, you want to go check out that video. Just click videos and go to that one, or you can do a search and you will see my video and why it is I use that panel. A lot of people are asking, can they use 200 watt or 300 watt or 250 watt panels or whatever? And yes, that's not a problem. All you have to remember is not to exceed 140 volts and 30 amps going into this. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to the video. I really appreciate all the subscriptions and the likes. If you liked what you saw here today, please subscribe. If there's something you'd like to see, please shoot me a message either in the comments below, or even better, the fastest way to get a hold of me is by email at info@poweredportablesolar.com. You can also visit the website, poweredportablesolar.com, and I've got a full detailed review there as well. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.